What's up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. If you're new, I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a debut on the channel, Abzu. Song is called "Their Waters Were Mingled Together," requested by Quetzal. This is, I've never heard of this game at all. Seems to be very blue, which is, I'm guessing, has to do with the name. But also, I scrolled down here, and this is Austin Wintory from Journey, one of my favorite games and one of my favorite soundtracks. Bit of a long one, but knowing Austin's work, it may not even feel like 10 minutes. So let us begin. Their waters were mingled together. I feel like this is going to be a calm ride, but we'll see. I'm like trying to distance myself and just kind of try to put myself here. There's a lot of arpeggios going on in this song. Just a lot of do 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 do. And it keeps moving side to side. It's extremely cinematic. I would be convinced this is from a movie, not a game, if I didn't know. Very open, vast, very free. But I am noticing kind of a bit of a pattern, and I'll talk about it more later. No percussion, so it's all about the musicianship. There's no percussion, but there's like a... Sounds like a... maybe an egg shaker turned down really low. You can mostly hear it on the left side. It's hard to hear though. That's cool. Okay. Tension. I think I hear like a... clap, clap. All right. So everything I'm about to say for the remainder of the video is just an honest critique. I want to start off by saying that I enjoyed that, but it's a different type of enjoyment that you may be expecting from like a reaction video. I think, when we think of a reaction video, we expect some kind of big, well, I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume you'd want to see the reactor kind of like really, physically or emotionally responding to something. That just depends for me. It depends on the song. But I, react in my own way, which is my normal human way. And for that one, my instinct was to just kind of soak it in and just be in the moment. And to make this a little easier for myself, I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to the game Journey, which I have played, and it's the same composer. And normally I wouldn't talk about like another game during, another game soundtrack, but I feel like there's a lot of overlap in similarities and kind of overall feeling. And that's like the main segue I want to get into is, to me, I wouldn't even really classify. This is gonna sound really weird and maybe like a negative thing, but I just promise you it's not. So just kind of like, take your head out of that negative space. But to me, this doesn't really sound like music. It sounds more like a feeling, like a very human emotion with its ups and downs and its climaxes and its left and rights, and it's just, you know what I mean. So when I say it doesn't sound like music, I think I don't have to explain myself. I think it kind of is obvious. Anyone who's heard that or played this knows what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of the same thing I got with Journey as well. It had the soundtrack. To be totally honest, I didn't even know this until I reacted to a Journey song here on the channel. I thought the whole soundtrack, when I played that in like 2013 or 2014, something like that. And when that came out and I played it, I thought the whole soundtrack was like one giant soundtrack. Because I don't want to like spoil anything if you haven't played Journey, which by the way, I played Journey. But there's no like, it doesn't really feel like there's any like levels per se. It just feels like one long expedition. And it just feels like there's music kind of just carrying you through all that. It doesn't really feel like stage 1 music, stage 2, etc., etc. So I kind of got that feeling here as well, where my emotions are being, messed with. If I'm flying high, the music, I felt that. So it was very feeling oriented. Music like this is 100% made for the moment. And in a way, if you think about it, when you hear these songs on their own, it's almost like they weren't meant to be heard on their own. I don't know, it might vary from composer to composer. But I'm sure when, developers give a composer a task of creating a soundtrack, I'm not sure if they're thinking, this will be something I want to hear on its own, or if it's just strictly for this, that type of thing. That's what I'm getting at. So when I say I enjoy it, I really do, but it's not something I would just go freely like listen to, something like that. And that's nothing to take away from me. I actually love this composer and all their work. They are unbelievably talented, clearly. I'm just trying to make a point of how I feel about it. It's like, I've been doing this for a little bit now, and I feel like the comments of this video are just going to say like, obviously you just have to play it to really grasp it. And that's true with 99.9% of the songs that are on here. But who's ever played this game, I highly doubt they would argue with, you got to play it to kind of really, really take it in. And I would have to agree if I were to say the same thing about Journey. Journey's really cool as well, but you got to play it to like really, be in that moment. So speaking of which, musically, it's obviously incredibly impressive. Austin is a master, to be totally honest, to write very long pieces like that with, the dynamics. Dynamics are a big thing for me, and it's all over his music. Dynamics are like the soft or the kind of feeling of the player. So you'll hear something's loud, something's quiet, something's over here. It's not all just like one, uniform volume or anything. Things are just kind of sprinkled throughout. That's why I heard that like shaker very like until like 8 minutes in. Stuff like that, just little kind of things here and there, which also goes with what I wrote earlier, is that these songs sound like paintings. So both a feeling and a painting, which I guess we can just combine the whole thing into just art. Right? When you think of a painting, you think of just kind of this freeform expression, almost kind of no guidance. And from what I'm assuming, this is a water ocean type of game. I don't know. But from the looks of it and the sounds of it, then it's doing its job, right? It sounds, a lot of that sounded like I was in the ocean, just kind of just floating through it, like it's outer space in a way. So it's very expressive, very cinematic. I'm actually curious if this composer's worked on any like sort of scores for movies or anything besides games. So at the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of this person. I don't know what Abzu is, but it's a different type of enjoyment. I enjoy it in a way where I just kind of like drift off and, take it in at the moment. But I know that playing is like the big one here. And that's pretty much all I have to say. It's just a really nice song. And probably a really beautiful game. I feel like Austin's game choices are always like a visual thing as well. So it kind of like goes, again, hand in hand with the whole art thing. It's an experience. That's pretty much all I got. So my introduction to Abzu, let me know more about it and anything else you want me to tell me. Thank you to Quetzal for the request. Thanks to everyone that you see on the screen. Thanks to you for watching. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I thank you all. Take it easy. Have a good one.